There we go. All right. So it's a bit annoying, because he's we got it's basically, the Greens and feminazis, third wave feminists having a whinge. And as we all know, they're in the media. They're in the media and they push, the quota system and stuff like that. And so, we can come back to the quota system stuff if we want in a bit. And here we go. Yes, marvellous. Thank you very much. Let's go. All right. Now, free market. Free market. Let's get on to the free market stuff because I've been getting some messages from people regarding stuff. So don't forget that if you hear something I say and you want to have it into put comments. There it is. Got to remember that I've got my nice fresh coffee, keep me going, eh? Hopefully this doesn't make me run to the dunny. We'll call it. Here's dunny. Urinal's a bit rough word, bit some might. So the free market. What should we go with? All right, fixes everything. That was the theme I was going to go with. That was my agenda. I try to push tonight. Okay, so not necessarily, one person to think, Aussie Flying Ace, he's a pro free market sort of guy. That's not what I'm necessarily saying. What I'm saying tonight, and that's what we're going to be future, that there is going to be more and more shows like that. We're going to have the discussions from different agendas. That's right, have a proper debate club going on. That's what we do. Some more comments to go. All right, now, problems we got. One person brought up pollution. So, with pollution in the free market, I guess we should start. What is the free market? Is the free market something that has no regulations on it? Or is the free market something that doesn't have taxes on it? Or is it something that doesn't have both taxes or regulations, and only then is it a free market? And of course, you don't want to get stuck into the true Scotsman fallacy where we say, enough. You didn't enough. People need to trust the invisible hand, so that can always be a legitimate issue where people don't, trust the invisible hand enough. So, pollution. Well, that's one of the things that comes up with it, right? Is that the free market has a heavy implication of the responsibility lays with the individual consumer. It's the individual consumer with his purchasing decisions that has a flow-on effect. And so, if there's a company acting in a way you don't agree with, you shouldn't buy products from that company. Of course, the issue comes in if someone goes, well, what about monopolies? Or what if only one company offers that service? Well, an environment should be created which allows competition to exist. And it should be encouraged. And competition should always be encouraged. That's one thing. Else with pollution. Well, pollution, I guess people will say, and I would say myself, is dealing after the fact. Those things try to prevent pollution in a way, don't you? I mean, you don't want to have these dodgy oil rigs out in the middle of the ocean, drilling with a bloody hand drill into the ocean, let it pour out and just getting a little bit out, the rest goes in the ocean. Who cares? We get a little bit. That's one thing that people might argue. That you're going to get these big companies that put work practices that are involved, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. No less. We're going to have environment totally sucks, and we're going to make smart purchase of from pollution. So of course that's an issue, which of course people can, if they are concerned about it, vote in the right way. Which we can come to some stuff about voting. So you could vote a representative that you believe properly represents your views on environmental concerns like environmental degradation and pollution from companies, and perhaps that party that you voted for will pass legalisation that restricts certain business practices that may threaten the environment. Now, if that happens, that is all part of legislation that's been enacted and enforced, is that a free market? That's a question that we all need, I would say. Alright, now, we'll come back to the see if people get some comments. See what's I have to sort this comment box out and get. This is the one I always have bloody problems with, the stupid comment box, don't I? It's always the comment box. It's always the comment box, they say. Always. If I go that one, that's right for later. Now, Multinational insider trading was one that was brought up. Multinational insider trading, that's a big word with big lots of syllables, isn't it? Alright, so what do we do? And that goes on to a question I had a bit further down. I should have linked them together. Corporate responsibility in products made in other countries by other businesses. Linked a little bit to multinational insider trading. Tricky one, isn't it? Because, I mean, you can have businesses set up in other countries that have their, paperwork bureaucracy in that other country, and they can split their, and so basically you could have one person that owns, well, not one person, but, a company and other things, young do, based upon the business model that it has. So, do you punish that business that doesn't? Well, yes, I would say you do. It's affiliated with it. If you can prove that it's affiliated with it, then why not? Why not? I would say, there's nothing wrong with, pursuing the legitimacy of the law. I mean, you got to draw, you got to, push it, pull into scrutiny. Question it when it's necessary. I'm not saying that you should rebel against the law or any sort of seditious speak like that. No, of course not. So, what would you do well, the thing is, power would reside in the individual. And so collectively, a group of individuals could come together to enforce legislation in an area that they have their, political influence to not allow that company to do business there. And you may just so happen to live in an area which is very profitable for businesses to do business in, and so it's a huge disincentive for those companies to do anything uncouth in case it, jeopardizes their potential profit-making ability. That's one thing that, of course, you want to be concerned about. If you were a multinational conglomerate trying to engage in insider trading and selling products and having, responsibility, even though, alright, so, I wonder if that hits it up, alright? Let's see if that hits it up, alright. Jeez, I've got a head, it is not, that's a bit annoying when you've got an itchy head, scratch through the leather, yeah? So, it also brings into malum prohibition, which is a fancy Latin saying, which basically means it's wrong because it's illegal, not because it's wrong. Compared to malum in se, which is, I think that's how I say that right. Well, that's one of the technicalities they say with Latin, is that there's no proper way to pronounce Latin. It's only when you have, church Latin, biblical Latin, Roman Catholic Latin, sort of crap like that. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend any possible Catholics watching, but there is, I've heard, when it comes to dead language, scientific basis, a long way to pronounce Latin. But I'm sure that culturally people would have their preferences. So, malum in se is evil, morally, objectively wrong. Alright, so malum prohibitum being wrong because it's illegal. So, you have to, that's the thing is, are these multinational insider trading conglomerate company power structures engaging in behaviour that could be described as malum in se, as in morally, objectively wrong and evil, or are they simply breaking laws that are illegal because they're just put there? So, I guess it all comes down to the morality of the collective individuals involved in this state, we'll call this hypothetical state, which has a free market, which is the agenda which I'm discussing tonight. I should have maybe said that, We've got a hypothetical state with a free market, and we're discussing the implications of such a thing. So, let's see if I can get this right. Alrighty. Come on, people, comment through. I know people are watching. I can see that people are watching, but no one's commenting. Some of my loyal commenters aren't commenting just yet. So hopefully that'll come through soon. Now, remember, look, I've had a bit, and that's the other thing too that people might have noticed, is my older video going back updates. I know it's like spaghetti. All I make it nice and interesting for everyone. I had a break. That's right. I had to have a break. Obligations and things that you have to do, so didn't have the time to dedicate to put together half decent stuff, everyone. Plus I had maps, public, map war booty issue, and unfortunately it looks like for the last week or so I haven't had much activity, and of course that's been reflected in right now. So if you are watching this, you have any sort of, well, what would you call social media? What would be a good day like? Oh, well, good name I mean for it all. You know how it's like a connected, all sophisticated network of monitoring stations that basically control your. And if you touch that, what that gets people commenting on these sort of things in the future, or even right now. So I'm sure everyone knows someone that likes to argue or bring up irrelevant points for discussion. Now, another interesting thing that came up was the human trafficking. I mean, they said sex slave trade, but then that's human trafficking. Well, that's the thing, is that the state once again comes back to the law. I mean, one thing that I noticed in some of the messages sent through and the comments made to me were there was the heavy implication that if you have a free market economic system, you're an anarchistic state with no actual authority in it. So, that all depends if there's anything like public land or public space, or if everything's privately owned, or that's. It all depends. Obviously, liberties that people have regarding what they can do on their own private land. Hypothetical state that we're talking about, there is actual public land, or is it all privately owned? In which state maybe should have been better defined. Maybe we'll work. Maybe you'll hypothetical you to implement, because as you know, anything is pretty shit in reality. Not because the math's incorrect, but the implementation of it or often fails. Look, I was about to say, I didn't say that, it would sound really silly. Look, it really comes down to the fact of whether it's objective or objective. I mean, with environmental, some could argue that it's only part of the natural process of how we affect the environment, and for the best for us to basically treat the environment how we see fit, there will be some sort of mass extinction event, etc., from that, and new life will rise, diversity will come from that, and biodiversity, etc., and everything will be okay. I mean, it might take 4 or 10 years, but there's a object perspective of looking at it, which, I mean, some may find a little bit concerning. I don't myself. I do. I do. I don't know. It all depends which side of the fence you're on, really. Some suffers. So, alright, what do you reckon? Free market, fix everything? What can't it fix? Do you reckon I haven't given a good enough explanation for what it doesn't fix? Or does it adequately fix everything, you think? And it's just a matter of individual subjective morality and your perspective on things. The next thing, non-aggression principle. Now, the non-aggression principle is an interesting thing because you don't initiate force. I don't know how much of a subscriber I am to the non-aggression principle personally, but let's say hypothetically in this state we take on the ideal of non-aggression and non-aggression principle. Now, does that mean that, what did I write here? Do not initiate force, not first. Now, as in, like, you don't make yourself a threat to something. That's how I see the non-aggression principle, is that you shouldn't be presenting yourself in any way, initiate yourself as a threat. Defensive. That's the thing. Is it perfect? I don't know. Is defensive implementation of aggression the non-aggression principle? I don't know what even I'm talking about. So that's why I've got threat to someone's life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Of course, see, that's the thing, is you've got to. I think that free market economic, system would go hand in with a classic liberalism state. It all depends, though. That's not even mentioning banking and currency and where that all comes from and how you sort that stuff out in the free market. But let's move on. I didn't write that down, but that's an interesting thing we could bring up before I move on to the next couple of things regarding this. Banking and currency, free market. Now, wouldn't it be best if you could, in this hypothetical state that we have, really people be able to create their own currency, and the competition. And, isn't that technological field of currency? Because all evolution and technological advancement, and it's become more and more practical. as usually is correlated with such things. Where's these comments coming? There we go. All right. Still none coming through. See, that's the thing. This is the problem. I missed last week's show. I had to skip last week's episode because of the whole obligations thing. And it looks like, my loyal favourite, Chips and Mix, where's he gone? He should be back in here asking me some questions. This is exactly his sort of thing. So, and we're going. Coffee's going. Thing. See, I swapped this around too. That's why I view my old. This is the other way. We've got along. Now, currency would be alright. Do you think currency is alright having a competitive field of currency? Or do you reckon that we already have that in the form of, stocks and shares, and companies can present them and bonds, and then the most successful out of them basically become candidates for being higher, institutions serve and such. But then it comes down to money. No, it's the asset tail, like your money failing or a bankrupt. That banking avoid. That's why gold money, the international currency, as a figure of speech, you could say. Now, someone said, "What about degeneracy?" Well, one the word object to the individual. But how do we deal with degeneracy? Well, once individuals make the most important decisions in this hypothetical state, it is their purchases that really push the incentive for companies to offer non-degenerate products, or advertising around such things, etc., etc. Now, corrupt politicians. Well, someone sent me this one through. What about corruption in the state? Well, this comes back. This really isn't economical, but I guess if you don't want crony capitalism, so you don't want centralised authority, so you want to strip power from the government, give it to the individual, and then therefore you don't have any power to be corrupt with. But that's more of it. That's not really economic stuff we're trying to go on, but it's a little bit related. No morality in the free market. Economics. This related to something I don't even remember. Who knows what was going through my mind at that point. Oh yeah, that's right. People would argue that there's no morality in the free market, the companies will just take advantage. Well, they're run by people, and I guess it's whether or not you believe that there's individuals, individuals can hold morality, really. And if you think that, we're getting a bit of lag, the hypotenuse. Well, that's no good, because I set it to something a bit different. How bad is the lag? Can you hear me? It's skipping words like it was last time. Because last time it was skipping words and everything. Maybe, because it's been going for 20 minutes, I think, I left that running. That might have been what caused it. Alright, hopefully it's all better now and it's not too shabby. Now, we got no more. Alright, so, it's individuals that make their purchases that, really influence, what the common morality, I guess you could argue, is. So, it goes like that. Now, healthcare was another one. Well, see, healthcare is not really economical. It is. See, the free market, you're going to have companies that can offer all different levels of healthcare. See, requiring that there be a minimum set level of cover is really eliminating a whole market that's possible for people who are like, well, I'm not going to get disease cover, but I'll get broken limb cover. No, instead they have to get general hospital cover, or something like that. So, I guess in a free market you could offer what some people may label as substandard policies or substandard insurance things that are like, oh, we'll only cover you for broken legs. Well, you could decide, well, you know what? I think I'd go all right with a broken arm not having to go to hospital, but I'll cover me legs because I need to be covered for me legs. Is that what some, or I won't get covered for 2 eyes, I'll just get covered for one, or you could say that you could offer an insurance policy like that, not requiring, a minimum set regulation, and, would that be better? Do you think that would fix a bit of healthcare issue, a bit more free market policies brought in? That's one thing that could help, I think, maybe. I'm not saying it will fix it, but from the agenda that I'm discussing with this hypothetical state, maybe if you had more of a free market regarding health insurance and health providers, you may have some substandard, practitioners and offerers, But see, and then it comes back to, I guess, the issue is people view it as an after-the-fact sort of thing. You don't want to have to deal with healthcare gone wrong after the fact, and so, you know, you're better off spending government money trying to regulate it to enforce a certain standard, to increase productivity, and ensure that there's no flow-on negative costs from, you know. Well, then again, it comes down to individual responsibility. Is the individual the one that's responsible for going to a dodgy practitioner, or should the practitioner be held responsible for his dodgy practices? Then again, who sets or enforces the level of standard in the practitioning? I guess there's another issue that will, you know, you can always find in stuff like that. So, could fix healthcare, could make it a lot worse. Could also have a whole bunch of people die. And that'd be cheaper. But, you know, no one likes that idea because morality. So, Aussie election. Who else is excited about the Aussie election? I was pretty excited. It was pretty exciting stuff. Anyone go see my video about voting? That was scary. It was quite cool. Just made it. But I got in and out of there, got me vote in. And it was pretty good, you know. I got there and guess what? Some people that we all thought were going to get in. That's right. Not Labor. It's terrible. Liberals, of course, got in. LNP. Tony Abbott is the PM. He hasn't gone out in his Speedos yet. Waiting for him to get out in his Speedos. You know, but he's certainly a training man. He gets out there, rides his bike every morning. Interestingly enough, he's not staying at the lodge. He's not staying at the PM's traditional house. That place is overtaken by possums. Got possums pissing through the whole place. Which is no good. You don't want possums pissing. If anyone's had possums in their house, when they piss, comes down all terrible, disgusting, smells real bad. So places get refurbished. Now guess where the Prime Minister of Australia has decided to stay? Now take a guess. Now think about this. If you had the leader of your country, for the non-Australians watching, which there would be a few, the leader of your country has his abode, his home, his pad, his place that he lives and resides in, his residence. Now, needs to be refurbished, needs to be stripped, you know, needs to be rebuilt basically. He can't live there. Where does he go and stay? You know, fanciest place, you know, is he rent out a private nice big mansion or something? No! He goes and stays with the Australian Federal Police cadets in their, basically their barracks, really. In no less words, the little flat things they have, is like apparently only $120 a night, which is pretty cheap when it comes to the motel rates here. So, they say the reason why he wanted to stay there was because apparently it's got a real kick-ass gym. So, he can go and lift and be fit. I mean, he's a fit man, you know, he certainly is a very fit man. So, the other interesting thing, as mentioned at the very start of the show tonight, was that Clive Palmer seems to have retained his seat. And interestingly enough, he did it shaving through, I mean literally shaving through 36 votes. I am not lying to you, this man got into office by 36 votes out of a district with tens of thousands of people, right? Tens of thousands, I think it's over 50,000 or something, but 36 votes. So they had to do a recount. Came through good, he's got the seat, right? Pretty much 99%, unless something real bad happens, dodgy comes through, some corruption, whatever, who knows, possibilities. But, you know, he looks like he's in. So, Palmer United Party started up 4 months ago. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, still got on my fingers, it's 4. 4 months ago, already got 2 Senate seats and a seat in the House of Representatives. Very interesting party. Very interesting party. Interesting policies. Dropping taxes by 15%. You know, giving pensioners a rise. It's all, you know, most of their policies I seem to agree with. I think it's all right. Now, I've got these other questions. What kind of things can you do other than voting and talking to politicians, I guess that means petitioning government, to bring actual change in society? Well, depends what you mean by change. I guess you'd have to define change. Actual change, real change, definition of what is change. So, would having the majority of people believe in the same thing that you do be the required change that then can come through democratically through a vote? I mean, I'm not saying that there's things that usurp the power of voting. I don't actually think there's, well, I guess you could brainstorm a couple. Most involve force. But, you know, if you disregard force in the equation, voting is a very powerful thing. So, therefore, you know, there is things you can do to influence how people vote. And how they're going to talk to their politicians. And of course, it comes from a mandate from the masses. So it's a matter of working with the masses, I guess, is a way of bringing about actual change, like real, literal change, like macroscopic change, I guess you're saying. Like change. Change, change, hope. Change is actual change. Maybe it should be actual change instead, not just change. It's a bit too much of a buzzword. You need buzzwords, plural. Alright, so what do you reckon? Do you reckon there's any other ways? Not mentioning force. Let's not go to force or violence because, that's just the easy answer, right? Let's make this a bit challenging for ourselves. What kind of things can you do other than voting and or petitioning / talking to politicians to bring actual change? And by petition, I mean you individually writing, not collectively as a group. That's what I sort of mean. You should be getting collective action. That's how else. But I guess that's what voting is. So maybe you just yell really loud. Yell really, really loud, and then lots of people will notice. Maybe that's what you got to do. Can't calm the palm. That's a good one. I like that. Can't calm the palm, eh? That's good. That's a good one. I've been trying to think of one because Palmer, karma, farmer. No, that doesn't work. You can't farmer the Palmer. Imagine that. Well, maybe that's what Palmer should do is get in with the farmers and he can be like Clive Palmer and the farmers. That rhymes. What else rhymes on the spot? What else rhymes with Palmer? Come on, guys. I'm sure someone can think of something. What rhymes with, I'm stuck on it's the calmer before the Palmer storm or something. Now I've said the word too much. It's not coming out right. Sounds weird. So, going on to the next thing, which I'm sure some people are, thinking. There's a lot of people out there that are like, hey, do you know anyone that voted for Tony Abbott? Because I didn't, and he's in power. This is one of the issues with elections, is you get very loud vocal people going, hey, I didn't vote for them people. And I haven't heard from anyone who does, so it must be all rigged. And it's like, well, maybe people don't want to tell you they voted for the other party because, you're basically going to jump on and go, oh, why'd you vote for them? You've basically set the agenda that you don't like them. People that, vote from that party. So, interesting stuff. Now, assuming you value the ideals of democracy, what are people to do when say, I think this is a bit of a word salad for me, but when 40% represented or even 50% represented, which is what happens in some minority when you get large amounts of minority parties. And again, what are people to do? Secede, I guess. That's without the eliminating force coming from, the ideal of a bit of non-aggression, secede. Non-violent secession is always the last option, I think, for people. And maybe that's what you might see happen in the future a bit more. Or, of course, you may see attempted secessions and then brutal suppressions. That's the other thing that can happen. Now, anyone hear about what happened in Kenya, eh? Apparently there was a mall attack. Al-Qaeda, or the Al-Shabaab militia, they're those friendly chaps from Somalia that like to kill people. Now, well, they don't always kill people, Sometimes they just kidnap them, hold them for ransom for a couple of months, They apparently attacked a mall in Kenya, killed a whole bunch of people, no good, got people hostages. Don't know much else, just seeing the news flashes come up, so that's not very good. Now, I don't think anyone from Kenya's watching, but I'm sure you can find plenty of information out there if you want. This next Federal Reserve, we had Ben Bernanke say that he's not going to restrict the printing of money right now. He's going to let it keep flowing for a bit. Because, apparently there's not enough economic recovery and et cetera, so that justifies printing more money. Which brings into question, is it ever going to stop? Is the printing of money by the Federal Reserve ever going to stop? Are we going to see this slow down or even... Well, of course it's not going to stop. They're always going to print money because they're pulling money out of circulation and accounting for money that is just naturally destroyed in the interactions between people. Things happen, they get ripped or burnt or whatever. So I'm not saying that I would personally do that. But then again, I'm not too concerned because if it doesn't have the Queen's head on it, it's not real money in my opinion. Now, is it going to be hyperinflation? Are we going to see hyperinflation of the American dollar? Or will we just see, instead of hyperinflation, a correlating lack of use of the American dollar internationally? As you may see with some, recently trade deals between Australia and China, which involve no, what's it called? Not transfer, exchange. You know, when you're changing into currency change, whatever that's fancy term for it's called. You know, there's not going to be, you know, there's no change into American dollars and into Chinese yuan. It's now Aussie dollars straight to yuan, and they take our Aussie dollars, we take their yuans and convert it ourselves. We don't, you know. So I don't know exactly how that works. I'm not, you know, I don't claim to be any authority. I mean, I don't really even claim to be an informed opinion, although I do try. So it leads back to the classic question, is gold money? No, it's an asset you hold against tail risk in case your money fails, but money won't fail because that's why we have centralised banking to stop bank runs happening. But in case bank runs do happen, we hold the gold as an asset against tail risk because gold can be used as a medium of exchange for goods and services. However, it's not money, it's an asset you hold against tail risk in case real money doesn't work. Just remember that. Saw an interesting video on the interwebs, the intertubes, as they like to say. Bill O'Reilly. Anyone watch a bit of, I haven't watched Bill O'Reilly for a while, actually. I mean, while, like years. Used to watch him when I was younger. Used to see all the old Fox News and watch Fox News. Culture warrior Bill O'Reilly. It's pretty interesting stuff, actually. He had a guest on there trying to argue that the word illegal, when attached to the word immigrant, is a racist term and should be referred to as the I word. What do you think? What do you think? I mean, I want to say my opinion for a little bit, but I mean, just as in a little bit, like 30 seconds, but what do you think? Is the word illegal, or the I word, trigger warning, is the word illegal immigrant racist? What does it conjure up? Does it conjure up images of a certain ethnicity, or does it conjure up people coming to your country illegally? I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's like black hole. You know, I mean, is that a scientific term, or is it a derogatory racial term that needs to be avoided or /and/or changed? Yeah, so what else do you reckon's racist? What other words? I mean, obviously, don't start flooding the comment section with racist words, but what I mean is words like that can be interpreted. No, don't actually. Let's just avoid the whole subject, all right? Let's not get into that, because the next thing I'm going to have comments come through and they'll get something real nasty and I'll feel like I need to delete it because it's bad, and I might get an infraction. And then people be, oh, it's oppression and it's censorship, and sits here preaching free market libertarian crap, and then he censors people's speech. Who knows? I don't know. So anyway, it's just, you know, need to get the shekels, so make this. All right. That was interesting. You ever go search money definition? It's one of the synonyms. The currency of Israel. Oh no, they call it new shekels, don't they? I think they're pretty cool. I think they're called the INS or whatever, the Israeli new shekel. I think that's technically what the currency is called. So, anyone play Diablo 3 or used to play Diablo 3? I don't play Diablo 3 anymore. I played a bit when it first came out. I didn't like Diablo 2 that much either, to be honest with you. Diablo 1, yeah, big fan, but maybe I was just young and, you know, disenfranchised with the world and didn't see it as what it is. So, apparently the auction house is being shut down. Now, apparently this is something that's not really, you know, Diablo 3 related. It's more so a discussion on the microeconomics of the internet with, you know, small transfers and, you know, buying virtual goods, you know, goods that are, you know, whatever they get, fancy terms for it, you know, fancy terms. So, you know, it really brings that into question. What do you think? Do you think that it's a good thing for games to have, you know, a pay to win, really? Or is it, you know, some games don't have a pay to win, they have a pay to save money, not save money, that's stupid. Pay to save time. So, you know, instead of you sitting there grinding for 50 hours to get an item, you can go, well, I'll fork out $20 and buy it. You know, or maybe there's like, I don't know. It all depends on your personal preference, really. See, the issue with Diablo 3 was that it got flooded by Chinese farmers. Not to be derogatory to that ethnicity, it's just a, you know, lingo term. It's like, you know, it's like coon cheese. It's just a name, alright? It's nothing, no need to get offended, alright? It's just a name. It's just cheese. It's just someone farming, alright? It's a grind farmer. Jeez. Call them grind farmers if you don't like Chinese farmers. It's just bloody cheese. Who cares? It's just a name. Right. Did destroy the game. I thought it's interesting. They said it's not going to get rid of it until March next year or something. March 2. I think that's from the email. I didn't write it down. So I think that, you know, a game like Diablo 3 would have been better if it was more so focused on what they said in the email, which is that it's supposed to be about killing monsters and getting cool loot. So there's not... Look, the thing is, the reason why it failed, I think, Diablo 3's really gone down the drain in the way of like players playing, is that there wasn't enough focus on non-tradable items. There was a big focus on tradable items. There was plenty of them. But the problem is as with any grinding game, you're going to get someone... We all know what they are. They're the grind farmers, Chinese farmers, whatever you want to call them. And they'll sit there happily for 20 hours earning 50 cents an hour to get something that, no. They'll take 4 or 5 days to get it, then they sell it online, $20, bam, all justified because they earn more than they would have at a normal, whatever job they are from their unfortunate economic situation. So, I don't know. I don't mind. Look, I'll play a bit of Battlefield Heroes. You can buy currency in that you buy stuff with, but a lot of it's macroscopic, a lot of it's what you see. Sorry, not macroscopic, aesthetic. A lot of it's aesthetic, so just how you look. But you do need to purchase bit, which I understand in a way. So you got a game, it's free to download, free to play. However, you spend a small amount of money, i.e. $10 to $20, and you buy a couple of weapons and things like you buy good weapons with it, right? So I understand that's like purchasing the game. But however, game's not of the high... I mean, look, it's all right. I mean, if you played the game, I'm talking about Battlefield Heroes here. If you played it a couple of years ago... they had less maps. They've got more maps now, a bit of update. Got helicopters now, pretty cool flying around a helicopter. Not many Battlefield games that are like that, more cartoony fun. Team Fortress 2's another, but Team Fortress 2 doesn't have any vehicles, that's the word, vehicles, because they've got the turrets in Team Fortress 2. Haven't played Team Fortress 2 for a while, got a bit bored of it. Bit of a grinder, that one for me. It was a bit, I don't know. Anyway... What else we got? Oh, alright, so. What do we got? I don't know if these comments aren't coming through, but let's go back to the pollution thing. Now, what do you guys think about pollution? Do you think that it's something that the nature needs to adapt to, or do you think that it's something that we need to limit and really control, and we need to try to keep the status quo of biodiversity? Or should we try to implement some sort of terraforming situation where we turn the Earth's surface into our ideal utopia and we limit the amount of life forms that selectively we choose because they integrate well with our societies? Like you would all be, I think in America maybe like squirrels would be a good one, maybe raccoons I guess would be a good one. Raccoons, they do all right. Crows are one, So, I mean, look, crows are always going to be around with us. They do well around us. I mean, other things like dogs and cats, they'll probably always be around because we'll keep them as pets. Birds, too, some birds, keep as pets, so they'll always be around. Should we just write some things off as a loss? No, genetic extinction is terrible. It's not a good thing. So, let's just get... what's that timer going at? Oh, yeah, we got a little bit of time still on our hands. So, let me just, let's see here. What else we got going on here? I read an interesting thing. Saw this online. Apparently, the Supreme Court, apparently it has a basketball court on its top level, 5th floor, and it's called the highest court in the land. Hey, how's that interesting? Suitably named, I believe. Well, give me a moment, everyone, and I will be right back. Just bear with me, and I won't be very long. Need to just refill the drink and, do business. That's the one. Alrighty, there we go. Just needed to double check something here. Alrighty, now, let's see. I've got some comments coming through. Alright, let's stop that because I think that's what's causing my lag. Can't calm the palm. Haven't seen a PC since my high school girlfriend gave me one in the back of my truck. Maybe I should sometimes read these comments with my mind before I say them out loud. I whip my Aussie back and forth. Not Palmer related, but Aussie related, so that's all right. Now, maybe I should go to here and open... Oh, that's right, the Tony Abbott. That's right, Tony Abbott's ministry. Now, Tony Abbott's ministry has been decided by him. And there's all boo-hoos from the left. That's right, the cultural Marxists having a bit of a cry. I mean, I can understand that, a bit of a wah-wah. Now, what it's all about is the reason why they're all having a teary is that there's only one woman. Never mind that it's his right-hand person. He's basically deputy PM. I think the deputy PM is her. I think maybe someone can double check or verify that for me, because I don't want to lag up the feed here and kill everything off. That's the thing. She's always been very important to Tony Abbott, but Tony Abbott in the classic, he's a misandrist, he hates women, blah blah blah. So, of course, I think the only way that crowd could have been appeased is if he gave a 50% flat quota to female ministers. Quota systems, mate. Communism. Dirty, dirty socialism. Say that dirty word. Socialism. What was that movie? That was an old school movie. Had Halle Berry in it. And it was about the senator. It wasn't a good movie. Well, it was alright. It was Senator Bulworth or something. Bulworth, I think it was called. That's a bit of an old movie. 90s, I think it was. Jeez, that might be showing my age. No, I think it was early 2000s, yeah. Bulworth, I think it was called. And it was about the senator guy. And yeah. I think so. What do you think? Do you think that our female representatives need to be equally, as proportion of the population? Do you think there should be quotas brought in? Do you think... Oh, no, that's a double up there. Okay, do you think that there should be quota systems brought in for that sort of thing? Like, or not... There's that dirty word, gender. Someone will argue about, what's the gender? Like, should there be equal representations of males and females? Should there be, correlating representation in the workplace or in politics of ethnic minorities? Let's say you've got 100 seats in your Senate. Should it be judged by what the people vote for, or should it be petitioned up to correlate as a reflection of your demographics? I don't like that idea. I think that's terrible. Terrible idea. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Now, waiting for some comments to come through. Come on, I've discussed lots of stuff. We've got the crowd all here. What have we got going on now? That's right, I haven't even opened this up. Here it is, I did open it up. Alright, now. Oh, that's right, I didn't watch that. Buy gold. That's what I didn't tell everyone. You've got to buy gold. This printing by Ben Bernanke on the... I don't even know if it's Bernanke that runs the place anymore. It might be someone else. Federal Reserve, printing money endlessly, buy gold. Precious metals. That's what you want. If you're not sure, Canadian maple leaves are alright. They're good ones. 99.99% pure. You want the pure stuff. Not the good pure stuff. It's real good. Maple leaves. Canadians do the good pure stuff. And, that's alright. But if you're a bit on the poor side, running low on the shekels and you want to, maybe you can always just buy, if you just want to have some precious metals, you can always buy some silver. Or, it all depends. Remember, the market is influenced by many different things. Sometimes the demand is small and the supply is also small, and you can find a niche there. GTA 5 came out. How many of you guys are playing GTA 5? I doubt you're even watching me if you own GTA 5. Well, I'm not playing GTA 5 because I don't own a console. Well, I do own older consoles, but I don't own a PS3, so I'm not playing GTA 5. I've enjoyed GTA before. I played the original one. Actually, I've got an original copy of GTA sitting here. How about a 5? I don't know how many of you guys are saying, oh no, it's too much to dig out, not going to bother. And someone will probably, go, oh, there's copyright, you can't show an image of a company. So, but I do. You'll have to take my word for it. You have to believe a word I say, though. You can entirely dismiss my opinion. Now, got another thing here. I'm going to be putting out for some of my loyal viewers that have been with me from the start. You are my favourites, but I had to remove my videos. That was sad, wasn't it? Well, it's alright because I'm re-recording pretty much 95% of them. There might be one or two I don't re-record because they're a bit of a, just at that point of time for when they came out, and I don't really want to re-record them and release them months after the fact. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll change my mind about that, but I will be, so there'll be some of my favourite videos that people did enjoy before we put up. I'll do some specific Aussie politics explanations, probably better than the last ones. Don't worry, I can still refer to them for references. So it's all happening. It's definitely happening. Why do I have written here, be a 25-year-old human/potato hybrid man? Where did I pull that from? Oh, that's what it is. Okay, I get it now. Look, how about I'll see if I can chuck that in the comments section. If anyone wants to know that Bill O'Reilly clip I was talking about. There we go. Yep, there we go. Too easy. Oh, no, I don't know if I'll be able to put that in. Oh, that's terrible. Well, just go search Bill O'Reilly, illegal racist, illegal is a racist word or something, I guess you'll find it. That'll find it, and you can see what I was talking about earlier about someone trying to claim that the word illegal is a racist term. Bill O'Reilly, Culture Warrior. Anyone ever get his Culture Warrior book? Heard about it a lot when I was younger. Never got my hands on it or anything. Wasn't too keen to read it, but maybe it's Now, what else have I got here? This is an absolute mess. Maybe I should wrap it up soon, eh? What do you guys think of the Syria situation? Interesting. I've noticed that in my media over here in Australia, it started to shift a bit more, not pro-Assad, but may we just say it's starting to paint them more as they're both bad guys rather than one's bad and one's good, i.e. the rebels being good. It's, a little bit, it's a bit nasty. No one likes it. Nasty situation there. Heard that Sweden's basically opened its borders to any refugees that want to go there. So if you know someone in Syria, a bit of a tricky situation for them, Sweden's your answer. Sure, all right, they can go and be Sweden. Sure. Now, what we got here? All right, now just give me a quick moment, and I'll just rustle together some jimmies, and we'll be back, and we'll just finish up. How does that sound? Awesome. Let's see if this can work again for me. All right, that says that. Now, you guys shouldn't be seeing this. This is something that shouldn't be getting seen. So, if anyone wants to help me and is watching, they can tell me, hey, that part you said that we shouldn't be seeing. Is it being seen or is it not? Because that's what I'd like to know. I'm just going to double check now. So this might lag out a little bit for you. Oh, here we go. There we go. All right. So it does appear to be going right. No. It's going to go. Some technical details. And we're back. I'm pretty sure I got that good, eh? Hey, see, I'm getting my stuff together on this, getting it all sorted out. Hey, how's that? None of this sloppiness. We're going to cut down on the sloppiness. That's right, like your mum did last night. Oh, that was a burn. Call the burns board. Alrighty, so, had an interesting episode tonight. Don't forget, everyone, if you get something you want to hear me talk about on Sundays nights, get to my profile, send me a message, or you can send me a message on the Facebook page. I don't even go to Reddit. Does anyone even know how that place works? I'm trying to figure it out. I've got a Reddit page. I don't even know if how. I'll try my best to learn it for people that do go there. Show me something if you want to hear me talk about it. I'll do a quick little clip about it for my shows. There will be more shows coming out this week. I absolutely assure you. I've got much more spare time this week because I've got a lot of things sorted out already, and I've got a big list of episodes to record on, and I'll be uploading them. And just remember, bear with me working into my videos and for like things like my custom thumbnails and so I'm trying to go for quality rather than quantity, but we want to keep the same quantity. We don't want to minimize quantity. We want to stay at the same quantity and increase productivity with quality, not quantity. Same quantity, higher quality. That's right. So I'm not saying that you need to, but if you find something interesting that you think I'm going to like, send me a link, tell me about it, I'll do a video on it. I won't do a video on it if it's absolutely terrible, but I'll always try to do a video because it's always got to be something interesting. Unless it's like, oh hey, look at this picture of blue. If you send me a picture to like a link to Imgur or something and it's colour blue, I'm not going to do a video on that because it's just the colour blue. It needs to be interesting. Chimpanzee riding on a bike? Yes, maybe. I might. I'll have a laugh at the picture, man. Excellent. Well, look, I might finish it up at that. Thank you once again, everyone, for watching. Don't forget, if you're not subscribed to me, subscribe to my video page. Your name is called, and thoughts, share my videos around, comment in the comments, send me talk about, and don't Sundays evenings. That's on my Australian Eastern Standard Time. That's plus 10 hours on Greenwich Mean. So always you can go to my live feed section on my YouTube profile and you'll be able to see there the next upcoming show, exactly the time it's going to start. It's usually going to start at the same time I deal with 7 p.m. I might move it back. Don't know. See how we do. I'll move it, probably keep it consistently on 7 o'clock. I think it's a good handy time for me. It's cool and I out in the sky from heat. An issue when I record during the family. So once again, thank you all very much. I'm pretty sure I just go boom boom and it's all out. Oh yeah, that's right. Alright, I'm finished now. See you all later. Yes, I want to